Okay, story time. I've been wanting to do this for a while. There is a story I heard. It's one of my favorites. It's about honesty. Um, so there's this king, emperor, whatever. Let's say emperor in the story. And he did not have any sons. And he was getting old, and he knew it. And he's thinking, what should I do? And he's like, I need a male heir somehow. So he said, oh, I know. I will do a search in the kingdom. So he called out for 5 boys in the kingdom to be brought to him. Somehow 5 were chosen, and they stood before him, and he stood with them in front of everybody in the kingdom. And he said, here's what I'm going to do, children. What's that? I'm going to give each of you a seed. And what I want you to do is go home and plant the seed. And when you come back in, say, a month or 2, I want you to show me what you have grown. And children were like, yeah, okay, we can do that. So they were each given a seed, and they went home, and they would see each other once in a while, like at school, like, oh, how's your plant coming along? And, oh, great, it's wonderful, it's huge, and, oh, mine has nice big flowers, it smells nice, and whatever, and what about you? And the 5th one, he says, it won't grow. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. And they were like, that's because you're not good enough to be the ruler. So you're not going to get chosen. Don't even bother showing up. Time went on, and it was time for the meeting again. And the emperor and the children are all standing in front of everybody again. And he says, okay, children, let me see your plants. And the first 4 children each came forward one at a time, and everybody went, ooh, and Emperor's like, that's a really good plant. It really is. And then he came to the little boy who had nothing in his plant. He said, hey, where's your plant? The little boy looked down. He said, I couldn't grow it. I couldn't grow a plant. I tried everything. How could I ever rule a kingdom? I gave it sunshine. I sang to it. I begged. I gave it enough water. Everything I know about plants. It wouldn't work. I'm sorry, I failed. The Emperor said, no, you didn't fail, you passed. And the little boy looks up like, what? And the ruler said, loud enough for everybody to hear, especially those lying little children, the seeds that I gave you had been cooked. They were unable to grow. The 4 little ones hide their plants, talk about feeling sheepish. He looked at the little boy and he said, you are going to be the ruler after I die. I want you and your family to move into a palace with me. You're going to take lessons, and you're going to learn everything there is about being a ruler. And one day this country will be yours because you were honest. Honesty caused you to win this honor. So that's the end of that one. Now I have another story. Also about honesty. Another good one I like. So there was a man walking along. He cut trees for a living. So he had his old trusty axe. I had done with him over the years. He didn't make much of a living chopping wood for people, but it it was something. It was enough to put the food on the table and clothes on his family's back. The very, very mild pay. But he was happy as long as they were taken care of. He's like, okay, it's fine. One day he's walking over a bridge, and he stumbled and accidentally let go of his axe. It fell in the water. He did not have a magnet to get it. I added that. He looked at the splash and the bubble, the ripples that was left, and his heart sank with that thing. He was like, my axe. Now what am I going to do? I can't make a living. I don't have another axe. And then this fairy came out of the water. She said, what's the matter? I heard crying, and I felt tears going to my water. What's going on? Because, now the acidity's all lost. I guess. He said, oh, fairy, I am a troubled man. I'm a woodcutter, but I lost my axe. I stumbled and I dropped it and it sank to the bottom. My wife and my children are gonna starve. Well, the fairy said, hey, don't worry. I'll get it for you. You will? Yes, I will get it. I'll be right back. She went down in the water. About 30 seconds later, she came up and she says, is this your axe? And he looked at it. It was brand new. It was freshly sharpened. He could cut all kinds of trees and faster. He could work faster with that. Still had the price tag on it. He said, I wish that was my axe, but it's not my old trusty, rusty axe. Sorry, that's not it. So she said, okay, I'll be right back. She came back up and she goes, how about this one? Is this yours? This thing was silver. Okay, it was shiny and sharp as a tack, and he could even sell it and buy a little cheap axe, and use the extra money on his family. And he's like, how can I lie when I teach my children to be honest? So he said, okay, no, that's not my axe either. I'm sorry. No, that's not it. Unfortunately. She says, okay. And she came back up a third time. She goes, how about this? This thing is gold. Okay, it had gems all encrusted in it, or whatever the word is, and it was shiny and perfect. It was very valuable. He's like, I want that one. I can't. I'm sorry. No, that's not my axe either. Darn it. Then she said, okay, I'll be back. And she brought up an axe again, and it was his. It was his, all broken down, dull, whatever, ugly axe. Because that's it. That's my axe. She says, you know what? Because you were honest, I'm going to give you your axe back and the other ones. You're getting them all. And you and your family will be better off from now on because you were honest. What? Thank you, Fairy. Thank you. Wow. He went home with his newfound wealth and showed his wife and kids, and he told everybody what happened, and he said, listen, children, this was my reward for being honest. Now, you might not always get a gold axe as a reward for being honest, but you get people's respect and trust, so those are pretty good rewards too. So that's that. That's the end of that story too. So, okay, I'm glad I got those out of my head and on camera into your ears. Hopefully you will enjoy. So, I like telling stories. Alright, bye-bye.